Pounders, welcome back. Week 12 Battle Royale smashed the slate. Last week, it was the Taysom Hill week. We put out the little PSA reminder 12 to 16% Taysom Hill. Got to mix him in. I had him on a lot of Bijan teams, unfortunately, a lot of CMC. That lucky 101 at a 30% clip last week was ended up being pretty painful. But this week's also a very fun slate. There are plenty of scrolls that are live this week. And you want to know what? Cooper Kupp's long touchdown hurt the scrolls last week. He ended up being the chalky piece that hit where we had a lot of JMO. He was one that we were touting. We were drafting a lot on live stream. We had a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot. We had 4% Judy that we were mixing in last week. We thought he was a great click. And he ends up having a great game. And if you guys know anything about Judy, he's my 25K winner in Battle Royale, how we cleared first place by 8 points. Last week, man, it is punishing, and it sucks. When Taysom Hill's on the slate, you have to mix him in. You have to mix him in. And if you had him with Judy, yeah, it would be pretty nice. But again, guess what wins? 2 RBs. 2 RBs. 10 out of 11 weeks. 2 RBs. RB in the flex has won the main slate BR. This is why it's so important to track what clip you're drafting 3 wide receiver teams versus those 2 RBs. I want it to be at least in that 80% range having 2 RBs. So last week it was a tough one, but you get back on your horse. You get back on your horse. You need Taysom. Bowers had a great week too. Bowers had a great week. It's unfortunate. Too much Bijan, too much CMC. Puka was a hit. Gibbs was a hit. Kyle Pitts was a pick swap from Kittle, and he wasn't ruled out, which is unfortunate. He wasn't ruled out early enough to swap to Taysom. Hawkinson, I think he can go back to the Hawkinson well this week. But yeah, it was definitely interesting. 11% JMO. We liked that scroll big time. And then Judy almost at 5%. I really liked him last week, and I had an inkling, so we're just mixed him in a little more than I typically would. JMO another scroll again this week against Indy. Goff blew up too. Goff blew up. It was such an interesting week. David Montgomery hitting 23 points, getting his 2 touchdowns. Gibbs getting 12 touches though. Is this because they're up by $1 billion and we figured like DeMont's just gonna pound the rock and run the clock basically in the fourth quarter? Something that we said is likely to happen. So Gibbs, almost a rest day for him, but with 12 touches, he still pops off for 18.8. This week against Indy, it almost feels like another DeMont week. Almost feels like another DeMont week. And A-Rich popped, Goff hit, Bo Nix had a great game. And we made a small mention of Bo Nix without Sutton because a large majority of those Knicks teams were going to have Sutton. It just figures it's ends up being a decent shout. But some quick hellos. Kaiser, what's up, dude? Logan in the house, what's up, fellas? This, I believe, is the last week you can qualify for the Dog Bowl. At least that's the way it was last year, was the first 12 weeks. And then week 13, they need time to get flight information and all that shit to you. So 12 weeks last week for Dog Bowl. So I'll be making a small push. I've been doing, last week I did 4. Last week I really should have done more. I don't know if I would have landed on Taysom Hill in the Dog Bowl, if we're just being honest. I loved Jonnu. Jonnu was another scroll that that I mentioned to the Pounders in the Battle Royale secret channel for the Patreons. Henry and John are my favorite deep scrolls. Been leading into the top 5. I'll be around 12% Taysom Hill too. Anytime he's on the slate, feel obligated to play him. I mean, it's pretty standard. When Kittle was doubtful, started mixing in some more Jennings. I didn't end up getting there with Pearsall just because of snaps. Playing around 50% of snaps, it's just very, very thin. If I'm going to scroll that far, again, Judy playing around 88% plus of snaps. That's the play I liked. You're going to see my ranks versus the ranks of the board. I like these wide receivers pushed up. I like DK pushed up. I like Mike Evans pushed up. Pretty far, too. ADP 17, I have him at 9. ADP 23 for Mike Evans, we have him at 11. Those are going to be major differences. Other than that, we have Tyreek pushed down just a little bit. Kittle, we have pushed up about 8 spots. So we're going to lean heavy into our takes. We don't typically rearrange the rankings, but this is one of those weeks that I feel it's off. It's very far off. K-Walk goes at 12. I honestly wouldn't mind just doing this, but maybe we grab Kelsey and then Mike Evans on the way back. This is crazy. In a game that played out like a playoff game, Kelsey, 4 targets, 2 catches, 8 yards. We'll lean in. Mike Evans is expected to play, and I'm gonna like more Bakey Bake this week too. So maybe getting that correlation with Neighbors, maybe getting that correlation with Tracy as a bring back to this Giants Tampa Bay game could be fun. Let's where's the one? Chip, shout out to Chip. He clears first place by 10 points. 10 points. He clears second place, excuse me, by 10 points. Goff, Achane, Breece Hall, Amon-Ra, Kupp, and Hill. And that's why I say that long touchdown he broke, basically like a slant. That got him there. 25.6. So it sort of was a chalky week where you needed the right combination. Again, like we should be correlating our wide receiver ones with the QBs, even if it's a scroll. Something we're always reminding the crowd. Goff was right there, though. My God, he had an absolute blow-up game. Taysom, slate breaker. Yeah, those weeks it makes you feel bad if you don't have 10 to 12%. Like you need a sweat of Taysom. It was also like when we covered the inactives on Friday or Saturday, I think we did our stream Saturday. No Jamal Williams. It just adds to the effect of like, okay, it's Kamara and Taysom basically getting the touches, and you don't expect him to go for 200 yards, but we said 6 or 7 touches pretty much locks him in to that. And that's where you get the elite ceiling. A little Kittle, McCaffrey is pretty gone. How's that shoulder doing? I don't think we're going to know for a little bit. I'm not too worried about it. We get maybe could do a Kyler double to a DK or a bring back. Kyler with McBride in that spot, also interesting. Jacobs is gone, right? Where'd Jacobs go? He went at 20. ADP 27. Shout out to Kev Slice. I believe Kev Slice is in the live stream right now. I'm not going to be too interested in Pacheco this week. I'm not going to be too interested in Chuba Hubbard unless Jalen Brooks is inactive. So just two names I mentioned today that I would soft fade. I like Stevenson. I like Swift. Aaron Jones in play. Tracy in play. Tampa Bay used to be pretty stingy against the run. It's kind of weird having Tyrone Tracy queued up over CeeDee Lamb, but oh my god. Feels bad. It feels bad. But that's like last week when we had JT queued up and we go Jacobs, or we have Drake London queued up and we go JMO instead in the $25 fullback dive. The Judy first half was electric. He had a good second half too. JMO's down here though. He's going to be live again. We'll see if Laporta can get back on the field practicing, but I doubt it. Kincaid's not, Buffalo's not on this slate. Ferguson, concussion. I feel like it's become almost standard that these guys miss a week. Now, was it Tracy that got the concussion and then played the following week? I feel like that's not typical now. Bowers goes for 25 and it just doesn't matter. Yeah, it really didn't. It really didn't. It's absolutely painful. Absolutely painful. The Jonnu shout was crazy, though. The Jonnu shout was crazy. Didn't expect him to get 25, but... All right, what are we doing for QB? It's between Purdy or... You know what? Let's make this a Bake if he's available. Let's go Bake. I like these weird combos too with Purdy, like grabbing CMC and Kittle, or it's just a little more different from the. You're gonna see a lot of Juwan Jennings this week. Juwan Jennings and Kittle, a little different double stack. That we know CMC can house a catch. The amount of drop offs that guy gets. Let's try to jump into a dog bowl, and while that is waiting to fill, we'll do some more of the main slates. I like to do my main slates today, which is Monday, Tuesday, early in the week, get my volume in on the main slates, and then start to dive into some of these other contests, which you guys know I like. The fullback dive, the extra point. Are we gonna get the same amount of, like, the third and long last week was awesome. The victory formation. I hope that they bring those back again. Okay. Waiting on 5 for the dog bowl. It should fill. Kept slicing this one again. Inglix. Definitely seen this drafter quite a bit this season. CMC, Mixon, Amon-Ra. I have Achane at 4. This is crazy usage, though. Like 21 touches for Achane. It's pretty nutty. It's pretty nutty. And I could see maybe in dog bowl this playing out differently, right? Like if you think it's deeper at running back than it is receiver, maybe we bump up Nico Collins to 3. I think that's completely fine. But you're also getting, right now, again, Mike Evans at 23. I think that's criminal in dog bowl. We also have Joe Mixon ranked at 2. Achane goes at 4. I think the ADPs are going to change too on these early players. Last week we had, we even correctly soft faded like the Lamar from last week, which felt so good. Felt so good. What we end up with? We ended up with 6% Lamar against Pittsburgh. Just felt like a terrible spot. Josh Allen, I think we ended up with a good amount. Just under field on Josh Allen. 11% Jacobs. Couldn't pair it together with the good Taysom team. We'll take Nico at 10. We'll take Nico at 10. Can we go back in time? You just select anyone else. Oh, this team's sick. HA and Nico. Could have been us. Could have been us. All right, let's bring in neighbors. Someone just traded Chuba for Justin Jefferson in my league. Should I be suspicious? How are people trading still? Our trade deadline ends like the week of like November 10th. My best Taysom got killed by Justin Jefferson. Not what I thought I'd be saying. Jefferson's been mediocre this year. It's not really him. We know that. It's Sam Darnold, but it matters when your QB can't get you the ball. He's been pretty lackluster. 11, 7, 18. Even the 18 week, I don't think did it. DK at 17. Let's go 3 wide receivers here. Last week, it was Saturday. I was streaming, and I had 0 three wide receiver teams at the time, which is fine. Again, it was a pretty bad week for wide receivers. But I ended up mixing just a few in at the end. So, yeah, we were about 33 teams deep on last week's stream, and we're looking at bestballoverlay.com, the biggest edge in best ball. And we had 0 with wide receiver hitting the flex, which is fine. And shout out to Dave. Dave gets another Dog Bowl ticket, bestballoverlay.com subscriber. Happy for that kid. He's been putting in a ton of work, so he deserves it, truly. Fuego in the house, what's up, baby? Yeah, Jefferson is like, you feel like you have to click him because of the name value, but when are we just going to let it slip to the next drafter? It's getting to that point. I'll take Kittle again here if they want to drop him to us. If they want to drop him to us. I think we can play this a couple different ways that are interesting. You can go A-Rich with the Amon-Ra bringback. Jacobs goes again early, which I like that call. Yeah. Just like next tight end off the board is Jonnu. I would probably have Hawkinson over Jonnu this week and just go back to the Hawkinson well. I think the fall off in, damn, I was going to say ceiling, but Jonnu literally just had a crazy ceiling game. Adam, get that bet ready, boy. Get that bet ready. After this, I'll show you guys the board bets we made this season with the Pounders during the summer and an early draft season big board. We had some fun board bets and some fun sweats to end the season off. We'll showcase those in a minute. Wanna what? I kind of just want to scroll all the way the F down. Where'd Connor go? I don't think Chuba's a good click right now. Connor went at 18. We could play it with JT. I mean, 25 touches. 25 touches. Detroit is stingy against the run, and they're going to take a lead. And will JT be able to be relevant even in the second half? That's why he's sliding. I think it's correct that he's sliding. Let's mix in Goff here if he falls to us. If not, Is anyone going DeVito this week? We saw him get drafted in the last lobby, which is just like a little aggressive there. Seattle with Gino is live too. We have the game stack. Let's lean into that. Dogbowl waiting on 6 now. It's going the opposite way. Interesting. Feels faster at night. Yeah, the Chuba click, I think it could be great. It's just, why don't we just wait on the information if Brooks is going to play this week or not? Because if he is, like, you're not going to be clicking too much Chuba. Even then, like, yeah, sure, Brooks comes back and he's not going to get a full workload. Chuba's still going to be mixed in, but if you tell me Chuba's getting 62% of the workload versus his 88% typical, I'm still not going to really want that much Chuba, even at 62% of the workload. If it's Dog Bowl, that's a different beast. But main slate BRs is ADPs. It's not like it's crazy. He's right there, like outside the top 36. Faded myself in the board bet, and Jonnu ended up as my 3rd highest tight end this year. Dude, that's one that I absolutely flipped you on. That's one that I absolutely flipped you on. It was so funny. So funny. Live NFL. I think you ended up with more Jonnu than me, which that's a crime. That's a crime. I ended up with 16%. He was my 3rd highest. Look at that Pitts. It's crazy. He's not even the worst tight end in his range. Ferguson hurts. The run out for Ferguson's been pretty dog ass. 12% Bowers. Wish this was more, but is what it is. Let's pull up the board bets because these are just too spicy. We're getting towards the back third of the season. Pat versus Adam. Adam with us live. You ended up with more than me. Oh my god, I'm a fraud. Pat versus Adam. Jonnu, 50 or more receptions. I was feeling a little overconfident, I guess, when he got pushed to Miami, because that is obviously giving up odds. Like, him to get 50 catches would be I would have hit a crazy ladder parlay if I just bet with the Vegas. Instead, we give Adam even odds on 50 catches, and he's at 39. 39 catches with how many weeks? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 7 weeks? Adam, that beer, man, it's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice and cold. 33 degrees. Here's another one. Mooney versus Wicks. The ball knowers. People would say Wicks, the ball knowing guy, for a tequila bottle. People voted on this way late too, into the middle of the season. I think some people may have flipped to the other side. We should have locked in the voting. Mooney's taking that. Dude, Mooney's run so hot that he even knows to get hurt during his bye week. That's how hot this guy runs. Gonna get hurt. Now he has his bye. He's got time to come back and not even miss a game. The dude just runs hot. Here's a fun one. Parker Washington against Gabe Davis. I have Parker Washington, $20 to win 100, so I'm getting 5-1. Gabe Davis done for the season. He's at like 43.8 points. Parker Washington's at like 16 and change. We need like 20 something odd points from Parker Washington. They're on bye this week, so he has one less game. He has 6 games. He has to average under 5 points a game. He can have some at 10, some at 2. If Mac Jones is playing rest of season, it's over. It's over. It's done. But if we get T-Law back, no Kirk, no Gabe, You're going to get what, 75% plus, 80% plus snaps for Parker Washington. It's going to be out there with the rookie and Ingram. It's definitely room for it not to hit still, but this was always the thought was the injuries with Gabe Davis. And that translated to my season long percent being at 3%. So a little injury victory lap there. We'll go Amon-Ra here. And then the last one. Bauer again, Adam taking another one on. And since I gave him odds, he gave me odds on this one. Bowers will have 130-point underdog scoring game. We have the under. Looks there's a chance we go. There's a chance we go 4-0. I'd say at worst we go 2-2. If Bowers ends up having a 30-point game, he could have last week. He was that close. And then Parker Washington, this one's still. I think I'm still behind. I'm probably 30% chance to hit that. Okay, we'll go Nico and Amon-Ra. Yes, please. Yes, please. Nico's going to fall to 9. What are we doing? We've being serious? I wouldn't mind Amon-Ra and David Montgomery too. When I look at what running backs are left, like, it does feel comfy to get one of these 3. Aaron Jones touching the rock 16 times. Tracy's absolutely taken over the backfield. Just how ugly is it going to be with DeVito? I guess it's been pretty ugly with Daniel Jones. So will it be worse? Line of scrimmage brings in Jade and Daniels with Joe Mixon at the 101. And goes David Montgomery. What do we want to turn this into? In Dog Bowl, Calvin Ridley is live as a bringback. Oh, man. I sort of want to push Bowers into this position right now. Just because of ADP, we can still get these guys to fall to us. Bo Nix again on the slate. I wouldn't mind this being a Bo Nix team. Pollard shaky right now. I'm sort of just gonna wait and see on Pollard. Like, look how deep he is. Look how deep. He's an absolute scroll right now. 11 touches. Like, the coaching said that they want to reduce his workload because they're using him too much. 31 touches here. Well, shit. Like, you can give the guy 15 still. You can give the guy 15. Dowdle's a good scroll this week. Against Washington. Jacobs is there. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, you probably get a mix in Jacobs here. ADP 27. So we're going by our own rules right now. DK. If not, we can go Knicks. We can add Sutton in there. We can go Knicks without Sutton, which is what we saw hit last week. Look at Debo. Debo's buried. Juwan Jennings. What the overlay does is just highlighting the bringbacks you have. So Indy against Detroit for Amon-Ra. Ridley, Tennessee against Houston for the Nico correlation. Don't pay too much attention to my exposures. We have less than 10 drafts. Yeah, it doesn't look like the dog bowl's going to fill. +6. I'm going to leave that draft in case you're in it with me. Pacheco at 23. That's aggressive. That's aggressive. It is Carolina. That's the thing. Like, how much will they have to use him to beat Carolina? That's where I sort of worry with what's his usage going to look like. I think it's going to be really tough to tell his first week back, and that worries me. Tyler in the house, what's up, dude? Gabe was bad pre-injury though, so it's okay. It's so true. The whole Jags offense has been bad. Curious how'd we end up with Jags exposure this year? ETN Bigsby as our second highest Jag, then BTJ, then T Law, Kirk Ingram. The Gabe's a soft win. It really is. It really is. Ended up with too much Parker Washington, but now it could be that weird player that's just super low owned. I don't really. Do we go Sutton here? I might just go naked Bo Nix. I don't really have a bring back. I want to. Like Javonte Williams. They said Esteme's coaching. Word on the street, Estime is going to get more touches. And Javonte Williams ends up getting 13 again. Bucky Irving's interesting too. 16 touches. Bucky's an interesting scroll. I hate this. I do not want to end up with a bag of JT this week. Let's go Sutton with Knicks on this one. Couple 3 wide receiver teams today. The RBs I like early, but RBs do sort of thin out a little bit at the end. There's some good plays down here. Like, don't get me wrong, there's some good plays. Tracy, Aaron Jones, Stevenson, Swift. Swift touching the ball 16 times last week. Dowdle against Washington, if he can get more than 2.8 yards per carry. Dallas is just a mess right now. That's more like dog bowl scroll. You gotta love the coach speak. You gotta love the coach speak. Stars, what's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Eklund B-Rob could. Yep. Sutton usage was insanely high. But Knicks was able to spread the ball. And such a weird shout that, like, you don't want 100% of your Knicks teams to be tied to Sutton. We said it last week. And it obviously doesn't end up mattering because Goff completely clears him. But Knicks had a great week. Knicks had 4 tutties. The rushing upside wasn't there, but it didn't need to be. It didn't need to be. He looked very good. I knew what you meant. Literally both running backs getting there. It was one of those weeks where it did feel like Gibbs and Montgomery on the same team was live. Gibbs falls short. He had 12 touches. It's pretty tough to get there on 12 touches, and he almost did 18.8 points. Look how deep Love is. Like, Love's in play. Very efficient against Chicago. Gets in there in the end zone, the ground with the legs. Was that tush push? Was his rushing touchdown? I don't recall it. Caleb's a scroll, probably for good reason. He's just allergic to throwing the ball in the end zone. Drake May against Miami is an interesting one. There's a lot of live QBs this week, and the advice I give everyone is make sure you're mixing in your wide receiver one's QB. So if you're drafting a Monra, make it Goff. Like if you're bringing in Evans, make sure you're mixing in Bakey Bake, who he's going as the top 6 QB right now. And it's deserved. It's deserved. He's got a higher projection than Mahomes, which Mahomes still being overdrafted every week. Two against New England. Tua threw 3 tutties last week. 2 to Jonnu. There's definitely some live QBs outside the top 6. There always is. And it's actually sometimes my preference to find those stacks. Last week we liked the Winston stack with Judy, Njoku. We didn't have too much Cedric because of the rate that Judy wasn't drafted at. AR Legacy game number 2. Yeah, AR ended up with what? 2 rushing touchdowns last week, 28 points, 2 rushing tutties. Got to get a fumble. You know what I mean? Just got to satisfy the stat sheet with the fumble. Just that's a must. That's a must. We almost just went A-Rich 102. Jeez. Mahomes quite possibly is one of the worst picks that didn't get injured in best ball. Yes. I would say that's pretty spot on. I'd say that's pretty spot on. Oh, God. He also had a bad run out, though. Like, he had Rice get hurt. He had Hollywood Brown get hurt. That's Pacheco even getting hurt. Now, Kareem Hunt is just getting crazy volume. Our Kelsey exposure, 1.2%. It's tough, right? Like, Kelsey's now, because there's freaking no weapons, like, Kelsey's had some really big games this year that I don't think he's getting 16 targets, 14 targets, 15 targets in those 3 games if Casey had some healthy receivers, but yeah, he's one of the worst. There's plenty bad ones, dude. Like Waddle. Waddle's really bad. Waddle's really bad. A lot of receivers in that second round. Olave was really bad. Olave, Waddle. I feel like it's the same people pushing Olave every year, too. I kind of want to make this like Jaden Reed, Jordan Love. Reed's a scroll, so we know we got to keep one. I think I'm going to like DK more than Neighbors this week, which could be a spicy take. That being said, we're going to go Kelsey here. If Bowers was available, we would have went Bowers in the spot. Just knowing I'm going to make this a scroll down team, and this guy's just showing off. I said I'm going to do a scroll down team, and then he scrolls down further. He's showing off. Who scores more points? Neighbors or DK? Like, gun to the head. Like, who scores more points? Wow. This guy said F your ADP. He just goes Ridley. Stones, bro. Stones. DK or Neighbors? Seattle with 24 points. I like that. I like that. I gotta get K-Walk in here. I missed the K-Walk. I'm just realizing this. Rankings, NFL. I missed K-Walk. We gotta put him up here. K-Walk's going to go right there. It's going to be tough. You just don't know what you're getting with QB play. Neighbors goes at 17 in this one. Like, yeah, that's... Now you're getting a unique combo. Like, that shit, that excites me. A lot of people are scrolling down and getting their guys. It creates so many different combinations when you're not going by ADP. You're not falling into the same player pool pattern with that 102 pick, or like always pairing CMC with Kelsey. Like, that's the sort of stuff that you notice that are very bad patterns. And it's very hard to notice that without something that's calculating your combinations for you. Which Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm mostly vibes, and then I'm starting looking at my combinations, make sure I'm not going 50% of my CMC shares with the same tight end or the same scroll pick late. So if we're going Reed and Jordan Love with this one, I would like Connor here. So we get our little mini with DK. Who do we need to go first? Reed's a deep scroll, huh? Reed's a deep scroll. Love's a deep scroll too. I would say we lock in Reed first. Shouldn't matter, but people are sick. Is Bakey Bake still on the board? Bakey Bake's still there. I want to divert so bad, but we're not gonna. Stick to the plan. I want to divert to Mike Evans and Bakey Bake. So bad in this spot. But we're pulling off a little bit. Let's stick to what we had. I do think if you get a practice out of Mike Evans and he's expected to practice, he takes the field for a practice, like the second you get him like active, he should have been going earlier in these. Even if the pick doesn't end up hitting. Like DK last week playing a full set of snaps. Let me double check, make sure I'm not talking to my ass there. How many snaps did DK play? I'm not sure if this site's going to have it yet. Usually it takes... Ooh, it's up. DK played 90% of snaps last week. 90%. Yes, he doesn't hit. But if you were leaning into that early on Monday, Tuesday, that Q tag where you're getting him in the last round, so even if he doesn't play, it's a free pick swap. Like, that's an edge. Two teams need a QB. Mike Evans going to go undrafted. There's two teams that can still take him. Oh, this will make a Tampa Bay double, which kind of feels bad. And then this guy's just been scrolling, so it doesn't even matter if he gets Mike Evans. It's like he got Mike Evans at pick 13 because you can just get Ridley for free with your last pick. Let's go. So we secure the game stack. Jacobs is obviously going to be drafted in 95, 92% of these. So coming off of Jacobs and getting that correlation with Green Bay against San Fran in a different way is an interesting thought here. Yeah, that one turns out strong. I like that. All right, guys, I'm going to be drafting a lot tonight in the Discord. So if you guys want to join me, Discord link is in the description. Bestball overlay, honestly, someone is winning a ticket using the overlay. I think that's 10 tickets out of 11 weeks. 10 Dog Bowl tickets out of 11 weeks have been Bestball overlay subscribers. And there's not that many people subscribed. It's not like it's SaberSim where there's hundreds, thousands of people subscribed. So it's very neat to see. But appreciate you guys coming out. If you guys enjoyed the stream, drop a like on the way out. Hit the subscribe button if you're new. And we'll catch you on the next one. Pounders.